Hello, welcome to Thrive. Today we are considering the topic, the parable of the talents. It's not new, but what is the business idea that this teaches us? The parable of the talents. It teaches us that God wants return on every investment. And we're going to be considering Matthew chapter 25, 14 to 30. I want you to read it in the house because of time. We won't be reading all, just a brief of it from here. Most Christians know the parable of the talent as a story about your gifts, but read it again and read it slowly. When you do, you know that this parable is specifically about money, it's specifically about returns and the accountability that comes with resources that is entrusted to you. God is not offended by you profiting. He demands that you profit. However, there's something that this story teaches us, and that's what we are considering today. God is a strategic investor. He gives you his resources, watches what you do with them, and will one day require an account. What I have given to you, I want an account of it. Playing it safe with what God gives you is not humility, it is disobedience. It is disobedience. So what am I saying? I'm saying that whatever God puts in your hand, you are supposed to be a steward of it. One day you give a report of whatever was put in your hand. So whatever God has given to you, you can't just say, oh, I want to be safe with it, I don't just want to use it. You have to use it, and you have to use it in such a way that it must bring profit. And that is what this story of the parable of talent is about. So let's look at three lessons quickly as usual. Number one, the master distributed to his servant according to ability. God gives to people according to their ability, what they can manage, what they can work with, what they can multiply. There's a reason why God put certain resources in a person's hand. It is to multiply it. So the master gave 5 talents to a particular one, 2 to another one, and 1 to the last one, according to his own ability. Matthew chapter 25 verse 15 says, and to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his own ability, and immediately he went on a journey. So God is not random about how he shares resources. He assigns resources based on capacity, based on the networks, the opportunities, based on what he sees in you. He will give you opportunities, he will give you resources, he will give you networks based on your capacity to handle them. So stop looking at what the next person has. Start focusing on what you have based on your ability, based on your capacity to handle it. So what is it that I will do with what God has placed in my hand, and what will you do with what God has placed in your hand, is what should be a concern right now. Number 2, the faithful servants traded and multiplied what was put in their hand. They traded and they multiplied it. There is one that didn't do that, but there is these 2 people, one who had 5 talents, one who had 2 talents. The servant with 5 walked with them. The key word is he went. He went. They did not just sit on the resource that they have. You don't sit with a resource. You go and do something with the resource that is given to you. So they did not just sit down. They did not just store it up. They went to do something about it. Business is an acceptable and expected response to God's investment in you. There's God's investment in you. It must bring profit. Where is the profit? What are you doing that will profit God in what he has placed in your hand right now? And profit is not the enemy of faith. It is often the evidence that you are even faithful. What is the evidence that you have faith in God? Profits. There must be profit in your life. There must be profit on your life. Very germane. Number 3, the fearful servant lost everything. That's the third person who was given 1 talent. He had to lose everything. Matthew 25 verse 26 says, but his Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you know, but there's a way he was called. The servant who buried his talent gave the most religious sounding excuse that is possible. He said he was afraid. Oh, I was afraid of not using it the way you would want, so I went to bury it. He was afraid, and so the master called him a wicked and lazy servant. He is wicked. If you don't bring result on what God has placed in your hand, you are wicked. There's a reason why God is investing so much in you, and that investment, there must be a response. There must be profits. If you are not profitable, you are wicked, you are lazy. If you are not profitable, you are wicked, you are lazy. But that business you are running right now, is it profitable? If it's not profitable, you are wicked and you are lazy. That's what Jesus says about a person like that. So fear is not a virtue. in God's kingdom. Oh, I was fearful. God should now be very happy about that. No, God is not happy about that. God doesn't want you to be happy over fear. Fear is not a good virtue. Any moment, anytime, it's never a good virtue. So it is what keeps resources buried and potential unrealized. The most people who have not done much with their life is because they are fearful. They are scared of what would happen if they launch out. That idea you've been thinking about for 5 years, 6 years, you have not launched out because of fear. Why don't you try it first and see whether it works or not? So what are the takeaways today? Number one, list the resources God has entrusted to you. Money, time, skills, relationships. Then you now ask, which am I bearing and which am I putting to work out of the things that God has given to me? What am I putting to work and what is it that I've buried that I've not done anything about? So it's very important that you list the resources first. What is the relationship? What is the people? What is the money? What is the skill that God has given to me? And what am I doing with those things? Number two, give yourself the permission to try, fail, and try again. You try, you fail, and try. It's better to try and fail. You will have learned a lesson versus not trying at all because you are fearful. You must try. The parable does not record that the servants had it all perfect. It records that they are faithful. The servants were not perfect. They didn't get everything right, but they went out, tried their hands on something, and they came back successful. Number three, bring your resources before God as a steward. Bring your resources not as a owner, but as a steward of God has given to you. See yourself as a steward of God's resources. Every time, see yourself as a steward. A steward is someone who is holding something in trust for someone else. He's a manager of resources. He's not the owner of the company, he's the manager. He's holding the thing on trust. So begin to see yourself as someone who is holding this thing that God has given to you on trust, that one day you give a response to what God has placed in your hand. So let's close with this. What talent, idea, or resource have you buried out of fear that God is calling you to put to work this season? What is it that you have buried? And it's very important. There's something that's a resource that God has given to you that you buried. You did nothing with it because you are not sure of what it is. But God is saying that right now, go pick up that resource again and do something. Some of you are struggling right now. If only you can pick up that thing that is useful, that relationship, that time, that skill, that money that you kept away, something that you have right now that you could multiply. I hope it has made sense to you. Tribe is about succeeding in life and in your business. And tomorrow, I'll be in your face again. Have a great time.